one-night dance. On that demon time, she might start her OnlyFans. Big B and that B stand for bands. If you wanna see some real ass, baby, here's your chance. I say left cheek, right cheek, drop it low with this swing. Texas up in this thing, put you up on this game. I be parking my frame, gang, 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 gang. If you don't jump to put jeans on, baby, you won't feel my pain.
Hey guys and girls, welcome to Jazzy J Talks, and let me talk to you about something today. Okay, so today I'm going to be doing a video on race and racism. It seems to be a ongoing conversation that is just never ending because, you know, the racism still exists. It's not as bad as it used to be years ago, but it is still a thing. Racism in the UK in 2021. If we look at the BLM London protests in 2020, protesters weren't treated as badly as in the US Black Lives Matter protests. However, not much better. People were maced in the US, in the UK. People were kind of, I think we have, what do we have? Do we have like CS gas spray? I think we have, that police have. That small little can that they're allowed to carry with them. And obviously handcuffs and everything. So I know people were, tear gas, I think it's tear gas. I think people were getting tear gas in their eyes, but I don't know if that was in the UK. I'm going to add the relevant information below. I personally believe that it still exists in the UK in 2021, but I think that it's more covert. I think because a lot of people that are racist in the UK know that it is widely unaccepted, so they know to keep it covert. Although I don't think racism should exist at all, but unfortunately, not everybody shares that same value in life. Are all white people racist? Well, in my personal opinion, it depends on the school they go to and their parents. If their parents raised them to have racist beliefs, and if their school is predominantly white, then I'd say they're more inclined to be racist. However, I don't feel this is necessarily every white person's fault, but the system's fault. In this scenario, the education system. You know, there's a woman, I'll put her on the screen now, she spoke about indoctrination in the schooling system and how a lot of
I watched my students become what I told them they were. I watched little wonderful brown-eyed white people become vicious, ugly, nasty, discriminating, domineering people in the space of 15 minutes. I watched brilliant little blue-eyed white Christian children become timid and frightened and angry and unable to learn in the space of 15 minutes. If you do that with a whole group of people for a lifetime, you change them psychologically.
She personally believes all white people are born racist. She's white herself, that's her belief. I personally don't think all white people are born racist, but I think that, like I said, it's to do with the schooling, their like environment, peers, parents. However, with that being said, men, specifically white men, who don't live in countries where black people are born, like for example in Portugal or Brazil, various parts of Africa, like South Africa, men who are born in countries where there are like predominantly white people. Their friends were all white growing up, everyone in their school was white, unless some experience happens to them to change their beliefs. For example, witnessing or hearing about racist remarks or bullying towards someone of colour. But until that happens to a white man, that's most likely maybe when he will change his racist beliefs. I feel it's, you know, it's more likely if somebody is racist that they are of the male gender, I usually find. But however, that does not seem to be the case in America. I think racism just seems to be equal amongst men and women in America. Anyway, racist women, however, usually act from a place of fear. Now, we see this from, if you see the video of the man, I think he was walking in Central Park, and there was a woman with her dog, and the man is just walking past. I'm not sure why he already had his camera on, but I think most likely she started acting like that and he got his camera out and filmed it, and the woman is like saying, please get away from me, please get away from me. Oh, and you know, she calls the police and she's like, oh, he's attacking me, he's attacking me. Bear in mind, he's like 6 feet away from her and she's like practically killing her dog. She's holding her dog and she's got it on the lead and she has it in mid-air and she's literally choking her dog. Her dog is like struggling and she's talking about this man attacking her when he's nowhere near her. I'll insert the clip.
Would you please stop? Sir, I'm asking you to stop.
Please don't come close to me.
asking you to stop recording me.
Please don't come close to me.
Please take your phone off.
Please don't come close to
And
me.
I'm taking pictures and calling the cops.
Please call the cops. Please call the cops.
I'm going to tell them there's an African-American man threatening my life.
Please tell them whatever you like.
Okay, so you would have seen the clip now. Yeah, so they usually act from a place of fear. Due to the indoctrination of what they see in the media, especially, they see black men as the thugs, the predators. Every derogatory term that gets thrown at black men, basically. Men in general, really. Racist white women, I feel like, unlearn their racism when perhaps they have a son who might have a black friend, or they might have a son or daughter that ends up getting with somebody who is black. At first, they will protest against... Oh, why am I playing with this? At first, they will protest against it. Once they learn of this black boy's character, you know, if he gets good grades, if he has good parents, if he was well raised, if he doesn't hang around the streets like a drug dealer, then in this instance, usually, the white woman will realise her racism is not plausible and immoral overall. So, are white people raised racist? I'd say the older ones, because of the cultural beliefs, because of the lack of familiarity, especially, you know, during the times of the Windrush generation, of which 3 out of 4 of my grandparents are of the Windrush generation. So I guess I'm descendants of them. And one of the 1 out of 4 of my grandparents is completely English. So I'd say older white people, yes. Like I said, when the Windrush generation came over, there was lots of prejudice and lots of like TV shows kind of making fun of West Indians. So yeah, maybe the older ones, but younger white people, not so much. Especially younger white women, I feel like tend to be the least racist of the whites than younger white men. Younger white men, I feel like, are less racist than older white men, but they are more racist than younger white women, I've found in my personal experience. However, it depends on the schooling they had, how their parents raised them, and their relationship with their peers. Okay, so can black people and people of colour also be racist? I find this a very interesting question because not a lot of people are willing to speak on this. A lot of white people don't want to speak on this because a lot of white people don't feel like they're allowed to talk about race. They are, but they just don't feel like they're allowed to. So absolutely, I personally think any black person, any person of colour can be racist. But let's be clear, right? When we talk about racism towards black people, it includes discrimination as well, right? As well as systematic oppression. That's what most people talk about when they talk about racism, the systematic oppression, as well as the discrimination and the derogatory terms that are all put onto POCs and black people, people from the BAME community, refusing to employ them, treating them differently, not giving them as many opportunities, but that's for another video. But racist black people, right, and racist people of colour who are anti-white, right, are usually, I feel like they usually do this as a counter reaction to the racial prejudices that they've experienced from white people, or because they perceive in their reality all white people to be racist. I feel very sorry for those kinds of people. I personally don't hold that belief. I don't think every white person is racist. That would be a really shitty way to live. You can't live when you think like that. There are also blacks who believe that whites are just naturally evil, and blame it on things like world wars, the monarchy, you know, all the people that have been slaughtered, and all the people that have been beheaded, and the Nazis, and this and that and the other. I mean, you know, as if vile acts don't take place in countries of people of colour, you know. There's still parts of the world where people are cannibals, and it's allowed. There are still parts of the world where, you know, people of colour will be stoned, hung, imprisoned for various different reasons, like homosexuality, for example. Anyway, right. So are some blacks and people of colour actually anti-white? Right. So, yes, some of them seem to be. This is definitely the case amongst Black Lives Matter protesters. Basically, so Black Lives Matter, it's a organisation that was created to fight against the injustices that black people face in America in particular, right? When the real Black Lives Matter organisation does not hate white people, they just want white people to basically wake up from their prejudice and instilled beliefs, if they still have them, and realise why not treating black people the same as white people is so important, especially where things like jobs, policing, and dating is concerned. Okay, so the next question, why don't white people talk about race? Okay, so I personally think I have the answer. A great many white people feel as if they have no right to speak about race, or they think that if they speak about it, that perhaps a black person will go, "You're white, you can't talk about race, you don't even understand." Oh, white people are allowed to talk about race. Every race can talk about race. Every race, as long as they're not being racist from what they're saying, it's fine. So to you, Tiffany, Amanda, Leanne, for my sakes. Honestly, talk about race anytime. If you're just talking about race and you're not actually being racist, honestly, you could talk about race all day to me if you want to. Okay, so this one hits very close to home. How is being black and mixed different? Okay, so this is something I found that a lot of white people especially do not understand. And I found 100% white people and 100% black people do not seem to have any concept, any kind of understanding about how being black and mixed is different. And it's not something that's not spoken about enough, so I'm speaking about it. Okay, so being black, right, you are one ethnicity. You're one ethnicity, right? When you're white, you're one ethnicity. Do you know what I mean? You'll tick Irish, you'll tick English, you'll tick British, Welsh, Scottish. Do you know what I mean? When you're black, you'll tick one box: Caribbean, African, Portuguese, Brazilian, whatever. I don't know. But when you're mixed, right? A lot of people I've found, white people will either chuck you in the box of being white or black. Black people also chuck you in the box of being black or white. A lot of people will, because the thing is, right, white people will say to some black people, "Oh, I don't see colour. How do you think it feels being mixed race?" You've literally got people that want to decide your race for you. That's not how it works. I think, because the thing is, right, if you have a mixed breed of a dog, right, if you have a dog that is a pit bull and a staff, right, it's a pit bull staff mix. You don't get to choose whether it's a pit bull or a staff. You call it by both. If you have a Labrador and a poodle, right, you call it a Labradoodle, correct? You don't call it a Labrador. You don't call it a poodle. You call it a Labradoodle because that's what the is, right? Okay. So when you are, when you're black, like when you're one ethnicity, black, right? You're not black and white. You're just black. Now, I don't want that to sound bad because that's not what I intend for it to come across as. I simply mean when you're black, you are exactly that, black, right? There is no confusion about your race. You're not racially ambiguous like Angelina Jolie. You're literally black. Like, people look at you and immediately know that you're black. There's no having people look at you for 5,638 hours a day on public transport, sitting there staring at you, trying to figure out in their head where you're from. When you're mixed, white people label you, as I said, as either black or white. Most of them cannot wrap their heads around you being mixed race. They think that the way you are is exactly the same as being black. So, yeah. And black people will chuck you in the box of either being black or basically, and what I've noticed, if you are well spoken, if you sound educated and you are mixed race, black people will label you as being white because apparently if you sound educated, you are able to articulate yourself, that somehow automatically makes you white, even if that's not the colour of your skin. It's very strange. But anyway, it's the same way if somebody wants to speak using slang and they're white, people will go, "Oh, you're talking black." How can you talk like a colour? How can you sound a colour? Like, were you dropped as a baby or something? Like, how can you sound like a colour? Come on now. Okay. So it's only recently, really, I feel like white people have learned that mixed is not the same as black. Being mixed, I mean, personally, being mixed, I've noticed that I've received a lot of unwanted attention from men. As a gay, mixed female, I have no desire for male attention. I mean, I do also get female attention, mostly from, I get a lot of attention from middle-aged women, a lot. I don't understand why. Like, I'll be out in the park, a lot of middle-aged white women will stare at me. Younger white men, a lot of black men, unfortunately, because a lot of black men, I feel like they have this fetishization in their head of mixed race females. Because, I mean, unfortunately, a lot of black men have a lot of self-hate and they hate the darkness of their skin, so they'd rather date a mixed-race woman so that when they have kids, the kid isn't as dark as them. So there's a lot of self-hate amongst black men, but that's for another video as well. Also, older African and Caribbean women stare at me a lot. Yeah, I don't know why the people that stare at me. The only one that's obvious for me is black men, because black men have this obsession with mixed race females, and even more so with white women. Okay, employment as a person of colour, is it harder? Is employment harder as a person of colour? Well, I watched a video yesterday about a woman who is mixed race and was raised in Italy. I'm not sure what region, I think it's somewhere in the north. And she was saying in her video that apparently if you are a person of colour, you have to send off 80% more applications for a job just to get a response back, just to get an interview, just to have a chance of getting the job. I personally feel like other people have an easier time getting work, but I don't really relate it to race. However, I do feel like I know that there have been instances of people being discriminated against because of their race and not getting a job. For example, I used to work part-time, ridiculous amount of hours, really small, like ridiculously small amount of hours at B&M in 2016, right? It was a fixed term contract, so it was for 3 months only. And when I did work there, when I left, I saw somebody who used to work there, and she said to me that apparently all of the people of colour that were working at that particular B&M were fired. No explanation, nothing, just fired. For nothing. So I think it does exist, but I don't really feel like I experience it a lot. And I wouldn't really always, like, the first thought in my head if I don't get a job isn't race. It's either, oh, okay, because I don't have 5,000 different qualifications. Oh, okay, because I haven't been to uni. Oh, okay, because I'm not I didn't get straight A's in school. I think some things like that, you know. I do feel like I do get called, pretty and cute. I fucking hate that word. And usually attractive people get more opportunities. Attractive people get more work, more attention, more this, that and the other. I mean, but obviously I can't speak for black women because I'm not a black woman, I'm a mixed woman. It's different. Okay. Is mixed privilege a thing? Personally, I don't think it is, outside of dating. And what I mean by that is that black men and mixed race women, black men will go for a mixed race woman, not a black girl, and their excuse for that is, because when I say to black men, why don't you just date a black woman, they'll go, well, mixed race women are still black. Yes, they are, but they're also still white. And this is the thing, what really baffles me, right? How come it's okay for a mixed race woman to acknowledge her black side, but people have such an issue with a mixed race woman, acknowledging and appreciating her white side? Why are people so uncomfortable with, a mixed race woman embracing both her black and her white, especially her white side? Like, why is that an issue? And it's like a lot of mixed race people seem to have identity crises, like they'll label themselves as black, which personally I think is a bit deluded because you're black and you're white. So, the people that follow the one drop rule as well, I just want to mention this, the people that follow the one drop rule, that does not make any sense to me. One drop of chocolate doesn't make you black, right? Here's an example. Woah Vicky, you can look up Woah Vicky, WOAH Vicky, right, on YouTube. She's 25% black, but her skin colour is white, okay? Because there's probably a lot of white people who have a little bit of black in them, and by that logic, everyone's black, because everybody derived from Africa. So that is stupid. The one drop rule is absolute bullshit. Absolute bullshit. So yeah, it's more about your ethnic makeup, your parents. Some people say that your race is what your father's race is. Some people say your race is what your mother's race is. Your race is the combination of your mother and your father, which makes you. What happens when you mix black and white together? You get grey. What happens when you get red and blue? Purple. What does that make orange? I don't know. Anyway, when you mix things together, it combines. It doesn't just one or the other overtakes. That's not how it works. But yeah, why are people so shocked when a person of colour has a white partner? That's the next question. I think it's the common assumption made by white or black people, because both white and black people are guilty of this, that especially when a mixed race person has a white partner, that is somehow very unusual or it's out of the ordinary. To be honest, I don't really think it's that different. I don't really think a mixed race person with a white person or is that different from a white person dating another white person. It's just that the mixed person happens to be half black. And for some reason, an argument that I've heard a lot from black people is that, oh, you know, white people just see you as black, right? Well, then they're stupid. You're half black, you're half white, mixed. You're not one or the other. You're both at the same time. That's the part I think people struggle with. So it's just funny. Mixed breed animals get more respect for their identity than mixed race human beings. I find that bizarre. Like, people will correctly identify a mixed breed dog, but then they won't correctly identify a mixed race person. Why? I would like somebody to explain. Also, so the last point I want to make, this is not on my notes, this is not on any list, this is going to be a long video, you already know that, but the last thing I want to talk about is being mixed. It's kind of like a lot of mixed people will have an identity crisis because we feel like we are too white for our black friends and we are too black for our white friends. So it's kind of like, where do you fit in? To my mixed race people watching this video, my lovely mixed race people, I understand that as a mixed race person, you kind of struggle to kind of find your place in terms of, you know, the sort of people you hang around with. But to be honest, you just look for people with personality. Don't worry about fitting in race-wise. You know, you'll have mixed race friends that look like you. If you don't, not the end of the world, not a big deal. Move on, you know. As long as you have people around you that understand that you're both black and white, that get it, and that don't mislabel you and respect your race, because then you're fine. Also, I've noticed that you know, mixed race females, a lot of them will, you know, a lot of us will get the most hate from black women. When I was in school, if I did something nice with my hair, right, and I put a little rose in it, the black women would be, you know, all the ones, it doesn't even look good. Oh my God, why has she done that with her hair if it doesn't even look good? There's no point of having the rose in her hair. These are actual things black girls said to me in school. Actual things they said to me. So they say something like that, or it would be like, oh, all that hair and she doesn't know how to use it, and whatever. I remember almost everything that's been said to me from black girls. You know, there seems to be a lot of jealousy that I received from black women, and it seems that the most hate, because it's either black women will basically have something to say about my hair. Half the time it's negative, half the time it's positive. I'm grateful for when it's positive. Or they'll have something to say about basically the way that I speak. So it'll be like, oh, you think you're white. Right, so you're telling me because I have white friends and because I speak properly and not like a absolute uneducated retard that speaks slang every 5 seconds, that I think I'm white. No, it's that I have parents that pulled me up every time I spoke slang as a child, and anytime I said think instead of think, they'd tell me it's not think, it's think. Anytime I said thought instead of thought, they'd tell me it's not thought, it's thought. So I was raised to speak properly, with a good education, with, you know, I went to a predominantly white primary school, which later became mixed when I got to about like maybe year 3, year 4, and then a secondary school with all sorts of races. And, you know, it just so happens that I get on better with the friends that I've had. I get on better with the ones that are white. That's just how it is. I don't think I'm white. I don't think I'm black. I'm both. I'm mixed. That's how it is. That's what I am. Whew, I'm going to have to do a lot of editing on this. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I just wanted to give some perspectives on race, on how black people are treated and so forth. I'm for listening to me talk about something today. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope you've taken something from this video. I hope you've learned something. I hope you've gained a new perspective, new information. If I've helped somebody with this, if I've given somebody a new insight, I've done what I did this video for. Okay. If you like this content, if you'd like more videos like this, if you like the style of these videos, please leave me a like, please comment down below, and please also subscribe. I have 2 other channels, Jazzy J Self-Help, which will soon be called Jazzy J Culture Shock, Jazzy J, my main channel, and this channel, Jazzy J Talks. Those are my 3 only channels. I do not have any other channels. If I do, you will know about them. Make sure you follow me on TikTok at JasmineMorris191. Make sure you follow my Facebook, my Twitter, my Instagram. Okay, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for listening to me talking today. That's all for now.